What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Forbidden Land podcast. It is day 4 and the final day of the DNC for me. This episode will go out probably on Monday or Sunday or right fucking now. Probably not right now, even though I could. I have that. It's in my power to do that. Have it come out at like 1 a.m., but then there would be 2 Friday episodes. And what's the fun in that? Oversaturation is what I call it. So I have a pretty packed schedule here. And God, what a week. I mean, it's been such a week. My hair has grown back. I mean, look at this. My hair is back. Me wearing the headphones like this is more of a comfort item. So on the docket, we got our things, we got our stuff. A lot's been going on. Trump is praising JD Vance now. Awesome. So we'll get to all of that stuff. I actually forgot to add this to my doc. In my local news, JD Vance visited Georgia, and he went to a donut shop, and I've never seen a more uncharismatic charisma suck that just did not know what to do with himself. Also, dude, his haircut is ridiculous. Oh my God, here, look at this fucking haircut, bro. What is this? Oh my God. Not only is he Rizless with no sauce, whatever the hell that means. Here's the video of him trying to order donuts at a donut shop.
The zoo has come to town. Thank you for letting us come in here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm sorry, man? Okay, yeah. She doesn't want to be on film, guys, so just cut her out of anything. Appreciate that, man. I'm JD Vance. I'm running for vice president. Good to see you.
Okay.
How long are you working?
I've been here since the beginning of July
Okay.
for this year.
Okay, good. How about you, sir?
So for like a month and a half.
Almost 2 years.
Okay, good. Just everything, yeah, I mean, a lot of...
Dude, it's so awkward. How long you been here? Oh, about 2 years. Oh, good. It's like he's never spoken to a member of the middle class before. Is that what happens when you become a Republican? You just grow such a large disdain for the working middle class that you forget how to speak to them? This is crazy here. I hate that I say this a lot where I call things crazy and I'm like, this is nuts. Oh, and I like sit here slack-jawed. But it really is just a marvel to see. I mean, even Mike Pence would have had a lot more charisma than this bullshit. Dude, my watch will not stay up on the charger. He had no idea. They should have like pre-scripted this. This is so bad. Trump goes into a Waffle House, right? When he comes to Georgia, he goes into a Chick-fil-A. He went to a Chick-fil-A the last time he was in Atlanta, from what I remember. He comes to Chick-fil-A, he goes, I'm getting everybody in this motherfucker a sandwich and some milkshakes and shit. And he's talking to the worker. All the workers are standing around with their phones up, like recording them. Even the person at the counter seems a little enthused to be talking about him, or to be talking to him, which is kind of nuts. And like he's like, we're gonna get everybody in here milkshakes, and anybody want any food? And then he goes to a Waffle House and he's like, hey, we're here to get some grub. And it's like, I hate Donald Trump, but man, I could watch that man order food all day. He just has such charisma. If I was a mindless, undecided voter in the state of Georgia who somehow didn't have it figured out by now, that would convince me, is him going to these restaurants with the kind of charisma that he has. JD Vance, on the other hand, here it is. He walks into a donut shop. He doesn't speak to really anyone around him except for just asking his staff, how many donuts do you think we need? Like a dozen, a couple dozen, like a lot. How long you work here? Oh, for like a month. Oh, cool. How long you work here? About 2 years? Good. And I think the next thing he says is like, how long's this place been here? 4 years. Oh, okay. Cool. Good.
Glazed here, some.
He just has
sprinkle
no
stuff,
idea.
Some of these cinnamon rolls, just whatever makes sense. How long has this place been around?
About 4 years.
About 4 years. Okay. How long?
Dude! How long's this place been around? About 4 years. Okay. Dude, if I was the owner, I would think I'm being fucking tax audited. Oh my god.
How long you been here?
A little over 6 months.
Okay, good. The zoo has come to town. Thank you for letting us come in here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Such an awkward thing to say. By the way, Midas Touch does censor her because she says in the footage she specifically does not want to be in the footage. In the original upload by JD Vance's team, she is not censored. So they did not cut her out of this at all. This is simply censoring done by presumably either Midas Touch or C-SPAN. But yeah, that's one of the things that happened during the DNC, not at the DNC specifically, but during it. And I just wanted to bring that up because everything we talk about from here on out is DNC related, except for the Trump story that might have some weight. I don't know how confirmed it is. There's been reports that Donald Trump might have violated the Logan Act by meeting with Bibi Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, and trying to pull an Iranian hostage crisis by... What happened to the DNC? It's still on behind me. Yeah, it's still on behind me. I don't know what happened to his end. He might have violated the Logan Act because he met with Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, and he's allegedly told him to not commit to a ceasefire deal until the election's over, basically because it would hurt his chances if the Biden administration scored a ceasefire deal. So that's why people have now turned to the new solution, which is calling for an arms embargo. The White House has done this before. They've called up Benjamin Netanyahu and been like, look, man, cut it the fuck out. And then Israel gets their shit straight pretty much the next day. All Biden has to do is just stop sending arms to Israel. And there you go. Problem solved. The uncommitted voters are a little bit more on board with a Kamala Harris candidacy and potential presidency, and Donald Trump gets a big L. Because I keep saying, dude, Donald Trump gets into the White House, he's just going to give them full authority to go ham on Palestine. And, you know, eventually they're just going to claim it as their own territory, as illegal as that may be. I know there's been a big win. What was the institution? There was an institution that was one of the bank backers for major Israeli settler funds that just recently ceased funding it. Like, they divested from it. I don't remember what it was, but you can look into that if you want. It's fairly recent. That's why I don't know much about it right now. But yeah, so let's move on to the DNC. I guess this is a good time to transition to Palestine-related news, because that was a lot of the stuff I was looking at. The UAW, the United Auto Workers Union, called for a Palestinian American to speak at the DNC. They tweeted, "If we want the war in Gaza to end, we can't put our heads in the sand or ignore the voices of the Palestinian Americans in the Democratic Party. If we want peace, if we want real democracy, and if we want to win this election, the Democratic Party must allow a Palestinian American speaker to be heard from the DNC stage tonight." That is yet to happen. I have not seen anything where a Palestinian American spoke at the DNC. I believe they rejected a speech proposed by the Uncommitted movement, which the speech, from what I've been told by reporters the speech was not that bad. Like, there was nothing objectionable in the speech that would make the DNC not want to run it. So that's pretty concerning. I don't really know why. Oh, I didn't save that link. Son of a bitch. Let me go grab that link. Yo, let me get that link. It's an old Law and Order reference from the Logan Paul episode. So, yeah, pretty alarming. I don't understand the Democratic Party's, like, why they're shying away from this issue so hard when it's been shown to be a popular stance to take now. When it seems to be a very popular movement of being pro ceasefire, calling for the ceasefire, saying that the Palestinians should be free from Israeli occupation. Why this is a, controversial. What the hell is going on? Why this is a controversial thing for the Democratic Party, I don't understand. And it bothers me. There was a Palestinian protest outside the convention center on like day one, and like a couple hours in, the riot police came in and cleared out the entire area. Fuck my phone, dude. They like came out and cleared out the protests. They started arresting people. And I just don't understand this apprehension towards that movement. I really don't. It should be pretty plain and simple, right? That we shouldn't be allowing a nation with the backing of the most powerful country on earth to have free reign over killing as many people as they want, clearly targeting an ethnic group, as every institution has claimed now. The death toll keeps going up. In fact, we just have to assume now that it keeps going up because all the people that were tasked with reporting on those numbers are dead. The Lancet Medical Journal, which is a prestigious medical journal, has estimated that over 140,000 people have died from not just direct bombings and killings by the IDF, but also through starvation, disease, water contamination, and so on, other factors that have been directly caused by Israel's occupation and genocide of the people there. And people keep going, oh well, then the certain constituencies in this country will push back and all that stuff, and it's like, no, that's what the higher up Democratic operatives who are much older and are lifelong Zionists, those are the ones that are saying that it's an unpopular message for the Democratic Party. And it's not. I mean, we even saw, who was that one guy that was the former Dem op for Biden's campaign before it got abruptly ended like a month ago? Who was the... Oh my God. Please. Who was the Dem op that called up the Harris campaign after day one of the DNC and was like, yeah, I love the momentum for the campaign. You all are doing great, but... a few notes. And he was like, stop calling the Republicans weird and stop saying we're not going back. That alone should show you how out of touch and out of their mind the older Dem ops are. Them basically saying, oh, the two main messages that have been riling up the base for the last month, stop saying that stuff. It's the calling Republicans weird has made the Republicans only talk about the fact that they're being called weird. openly being weirder on a daily basis. It's showing very normal people that live in this country just how weird the Republicans are. We even have a clip of that where a guy, I believe he's the president of the Democrats, the Young Democrats of Georgia, I believe. He got into a confrontation with Charlie Kirk at the DNC. It was about a 30-second long confrontation where, off topic completely, Charlie Kirk goes, "What is a woman?" Because he's losing the argument, so he has to throw a curveball in there. And immediately the dude responds with, "Huh? Why are you being so weird?" And then he walks away. That stuff works. It shows people how weird this shit is. How just abrupt and off-putting the Republican and right-wing messaging is. Like, you know, JD Vance's whole thing with like child tax rates and being able to vote in place of your kids, so you get more votes the more kids you have, and having this weird vendetta against people who don't have children, all that stuff. You know, that's one of the best messaging techniques I've seen in my life, probably since Obama's hope and change slogans from 2008. I mean, that stuff is working. And what did I just get sent? Yeah, that stuff is working, and you have these old farts in the Democratic operative team, in the DNC, in the Democratic Party, who have no idea what they're talking about. And so I feel like the best option right now would be for them to call for an arms embargo, for them to do one. They don't even have to call for it; just do it. There was a moment where I know Sean Fain spoke at the DNC. I know that they didn't invite the Teamsters president, which I think is a bit of a problem. They should have invited him, even though he spoke at the RNC. Still should have invited him. Hassan left the convention center, I think after day 3. I think it was after day 3, right? When was this? Wednesday, yeah. So after day 3, he was walking out of the convention center, and a Palestinian emancipation protester said something to him that was super aggressive. Basically said that he doesn't support the movement.
Hey, love the hat.
Hey man, how about you protest with us?
You know I was at the protest yesterday, right? I was at the protest 1 day ago, brother. Wait, I'm sorry, what did you say? Get out of here? You think I'm your fucking enemy? You think I am against Palestinian emancipation?
Honestly,
Get the
no.
fuck out of here. Fucking child. What do you mean, honestly, no? Why are you chirping at me then?
Don't call me a fucking child.
Because you're being a fucking child. Be an
I'm
adult.
not.
Think clearly. Dumbass. Oh, he does. And I agree with him. So why the fuck's he yelling at me? Hey, what's up? Sure.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good one. So stupid. Dumb fuck.
That dumb fuck at the very end is golden, dude. Yeah.
Mommy's journey and the opportunity that she wanted for Kamala and me, that's a
feel like it's a bit weird.
distinctly American story.
Right?
I just got caught so
Am
off
I
guard.
crazy or is this a
We
bit
may
weird?
all have different histories, different struggles, or different perspectives. But what binds us together is the fervent desire to be free.
Should you just say
to
mommy's
fulfill
story?
our God-given potential. Kamala's entire life has been about fighting for each of us to have that freedom. And like so many
Okay, I just heard mommy's story. That threw me off. God damn, the DNC is so fucking weird sometimes.
Here at the DNC, a big theme here at the DNC is that they're going to go after corporate gouging. And they're going to go after corporations, whether it's in taxes, largesse, loopholes. The RNC, we heard the same thing. They're going after the elites, the two sets of rules. Let me reveal a reality to you that has to be spoken to here, okay? These are the soldiers. These are the men and the women that go back to their constituencies and their communities, and they fight. They take time from their jobs. They take time from their families. Republicans and Democrats alike, that's what they do. They need to charge these people up. They need to be able to get them on board. But there's another reality that is literally looking down on them. Greg, look at the ring of sweets, okay? This is not unique to Democrats. There is a game of money. When people talk about uniparty, we are strangled by the money reality in our politics. Those suites start at 500 grand. You think there's like a teacher group up in there? You think it's like the Cub Scouts of Columbia County, South Carolina, that's up in those boxes? Some of them are lobbies and good things. The media boxes, you think they're free? Why do you think I'm on the floor? News Nation is not a broke company. Nexstar is a massive organization. We are corporate media. We don't have one of those boxes because that's the game. You pay to play. Those boxes are filled with the same people that they say they're going to regulate. They are literally looking down on the faithful and being told, yeah, we're going to break down on them. We're going to make them pay their share. They paid $500, $700, $1 million, $1.5 million to have those seats. They get hotel suites that are probably gifted to the party. And the same thing is true at the Republican side. And they're going to take them down.
All right,
Maoist,
fucking Chris Cuomo.
On high at the people who make the difference in their communities. And that is the reality of politics. And I had my producer walk around and show you those suites. Now, they're not all the same. They're not all the same. But the reality is, in 2000, they spent $300 million on presidential campaigns. 24 years later, you know what they're expected to spend? $10 billion. Do you know how much money Harris has raised in the last couple of weeks? Hundreds of millions. And that's success. A lot of it's small donor, a lot of it isn't. The most dangerous money in politics is now legal money because of Citizens United. You've got to know this. The idea that they can fight against it is almost laughable. It's almost laughable. So look and listen when you are told these things. Because I don't care what they promise you. Not here tonight.
Bro, they got the graphics loaded.
Trump knows them.
He rehearsed this.
He did one of the biggest fundraisers I've ever heard of in my life out where I live. Millions of dollars a plate. That's the reality.
I mean, he's right. I hate that he's right. I hate that this is the guy that's saying this. Bro leaves CNN, becomes like a full-blown socialist all of a sudden. Dude, I hate that he's right, but he is right. And it's kind of nuts that this is on a mainstream network. It's Nexstar. I mean, it's not that underground. It's pretty mainstream. It's bigger than like fucking OAN and shit like that. But, or like right-wing broadcasting, whatever the fuck that is. But, I mean, he's right, though. The Citizens United case, you can see a very clear difference between campaigning 24 years ago and campaigning now. I mean, that's obvious, right? And he already said the numbers. That's crazy that he's saying it.
A big theme.
Sorry, I was getting a little distracted. My bad. So let's move on. We have a lot of weird shit here. Let's talk about Biden real fast, because he is the president. And he was obviously there. There's this clip at a rally from a week ago where I was like, damn, bro, looks like he's like not old anymore.
Get this. You may have heard about the MAGA Republican Project 2025 plan. They want to repeal Medicare's power to negotiate drug prices. Let Big Pharma back to charge them whatever they want. Let me tell you what our...
Oh, Lord. Get Twitter to play a high-quality video challenge, impossible difficulty. Ugh, whatever. Give me auto. Garbage-ass video player. We're going to be a video-first company.
You may have heard about the MAGA Republican Project 2025 plan.
Whatever. Trust me, dude. He looks alive. What the fuck? This platform's literally falling apart as we speak. What the fuck, man? Ay, ay, ay.
They want to repeal Medicare's power to negotiate drug prices.
Oh, give up. Trust me, he looks more alive. I'm going to try to find another clip.
Service members.
Here's one. I saw this clip going around. I saw this clip going around on Twitter, and I thought, oh, this is like a clip from the DNC like 4 years ago or something, or like a clip from 8 years ago. Nope. This was 2 days ago.
Would not go to the grave sites in in France. The brave service members who gave their lives to this country. He called them suckers and losers. Who in the hell does he think he is? Who does he think he is? There's no words for a person. They are not the words of a person not worthy of being commander-in-chief. Period. Not then, not now, and not ever. I mean that. I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
To be fair, he still looks like he's like dying actively.
Brave service.
But it was this part that made me go, what the hell?
Who gave their lives to this country. He called them suckers and losers. Who in the hell does he think he is? Who does he think he is?
Look at that, dude. He had a little burst of energy there. That was crazy. I just wanted to say, it's like really weird. Like all of a sudden Biden is a lot more energetic at the DNC, at rallies. It's really interesting. Mike Lindell went to the DNC disguised. Dude, he shaved the mustache. I wanted to talk about him because he's the thing that made me start doing the podcast again on a more regular basis, because I wanted to talk about his unhinged drone speech that he did a year ago. And I don't know why I'm wearing these like this, by the way. I should probably stop. I wanted to talk about his unhinged, we're going to launch election voting machine drones in every state and monitor people voting. And now we've come over a year later to, he shaved the mustache, he put on this fucking old person hat. Love these hats, by the way. And he's like fully disguised, and he's just walking around harassing people at the DNC. First of all, look at this fucking dweeb next to him, dude. Look at this dumb shit. And so, just playing a campaign ad. That's why that woman was saying mommy's, whatever the fuck. She's, Kamala's sister. But yeah, he was like going around harassing people at the DNC, and there's a clip of him, I don't care if y'all see the doc. I don't think there's anything bad. There's a clip of him, at the DNC debating a child. Here, let me pull that up. He's at the DNC debating a child.
That's in your state. You want to know more in your state?
So
They just found 257,000 votes. This happened last week. A judge ruled in Georgia that are missing from the 2020 election.
So
This just came out. You're behind. You should.
So your source is Trust Me, bro? That's your source?
The source. It's in your papers in Georgia. You need to read your news.
You haven't given me any last name.
You need to read your news. No, this is your Georgia news.
Yeah.
This is your Georgia. This is your Georgia news.
Thanks, buddy.
Have a good day, sir. All right. Let's keep walking.
Kid really hit him with the trust me, what's your source? Trust me, bro. I love that. You know, why is he still going on about the 2020 election results? I haven't heard shit about any election results being overturned. The only election fraud stuff I've heard about, I swear to God, if my phone scans my face one more time, the only election stuff I've heard about in the last year or so about the 2020 election is that I've only heard about Trump's involvement in trying to overturn a district in Georgia. In Coffee County, Georgia, there were fake electorates. There were basically fake electors from that district who tried to cast their vote for Trump, allegedly. Like, that's the whole case from Fani Willis in the state of Georgia that's probably going to fall apart now. But that's like the premises to the whole case is, or the premise of the whole case is that he did election fraud in Georgia, of all places. I don't understand Mike Lindell's obsession with this shit. Bro, go hit the crack. People got mad at me on my Mike Lindell clip. I keep getting comments from ass-hurt MAGA Republicans who are like, you shouldn't make fun of blah, 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 blah. And then they turn around and say the N-word to a black person's face. And then they call someone a T-word because they're trans. And then they whip around and call someone the F-word. And then they swing their fist around and uppercut their wife. And then they go and suck off a cop down the street. It's like, I can't say the bro needs to go and hit the spoon. Like, come on. All I said was one comment about how he needs to go and hit the crack. And a bunch of people got mad at me. And I think he should. I think hitting the crack was a far more healthy life path for this man than selling pillows to a Republican audience. All he had to do was just sell pillows. And he can't even do that. He had to get involved in Republican politics. And now look at him, dude. He's like psychotic. He's going through psychosis. How much you want to bet they're going to bring out Charlie XCX? That's the special guest. I'm just kidding. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Beyonce. That'd be crazy if they brought out Charlie. I mean, we knew she was going to come out and do a speech. It's so hard to watch the DNC, by the way, on a YouTube video because of how much music they play. The RNC, it's like fucking geriatric bingo hall. The DNC, it's like I'm going to Coachella for 4 days. So Charlie Kirk went to the DNC and he got cum blasted pretty hard. Let's see. He got confronted by, I think I already talked about it, but I have the clip.
Because we have a Republican governor and a Republican Secretary of State in the state of Georgia.
What's your name? You said Parker?
My name's Parker. We have a Republican governor and a Republican Secretary of State in Georgia that approved our elections, and Donald Trump said that wasn't constitutional.
Right,
Donald Trump tried to undermine our Constitution.
You're at 10. I just walked in. I'm here to just learn.
Hey, you're an anti-patriotic, anti-constitutional person crashing our party because you tried to stop our democracy.
I got one question.
Donald Trump called the Secretary of State of Georgia and told him to find him some votes.
What is a woman?
Oh my God. That is so f***ing weird, y'all. Maybe you should meet one.
Maybe you should meet one's a fire line, dude. That kid's kind of saucy, dude. I kind of like him. He's got the sauce. Yeah, I mean, I really don't have any notes about that. I don't understand why they keep asking, what is a woman? I don't know, dude. You tell me. You've never met one. He's like, I think in the clip, it cuts it off before he goes, I see my wife every, like he like feebishly tries to respond and get the last word in. He's like, I see my wife every night. And I was like, okay, dude. It's the only woman in his entire orbit. It's probably he probably married the first woman he met. So oh, that's adorable. What's she saying? This must be a wild ride, right? Getting thrusted up to the top of the Democratic ticket, and then a month later you're given a big speech at the DNC. That must be a wild, like, feeling.
Thank you all. Okay, we gotta get to some business. Okay, thank you all. Okay. Thank you. Please, thank Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Okay, let's get to business. Let's get to business. All right. So,
Somebody just took a fat ass picture.
by thanking my
See that
most
flash?
incredible husband, Doug, for being an incredible partner to me, an incredible father to Cole and Ella, and happy anniversary, Dougie. I love you so very much. To our President Joe Biden, when I think about the path that we have traveled together, Joe, I am filled with gratitude. Your record is extraordinary, as history will show.
Here we go.
And your character is inspiring. And Doug and I love you and Jill and are forever thankful to you both.
So speaking of her speech, let's talk about another speech where I saw a bunch of people crying during it. Oh. Tim?
You are going to be an
Walls
incredible
mentioned?
vice president. And to
I
the
love Tim.
delegates and everyone who has put your faith in our campaign, your support is humbling. So, America, the path that led me here
Okay.
expected. But I'm no stranger to unlikely journeys. So
Anyways, another speech that made me think about how much I've strayed off the path of liberalism was Obama's speech. We talk about that. Michelle Obama's speech, pretty good. I was feeling fired up. I liked her comment about the comment about Trump, her saying this is one of those black jobs you were talking about that you want to try to take away. I liked that part of her speech. And then Barack Obama comes out. And like the first part of the speech was like, yeah, Obama. And then he starts talking about we need to bring unity and end division and bring together the two parties. And I was like, man, come on. Like that shit doesn't work. Like you should have learned by now from your entire presidency that that shit doesn't work. You know how you bring together the two parties? Pass some popular policy that benefits everyone. Healthcare, free healthcare, dude, or like making healthcare so cheap it's like going to the fucking supermarket and buying lunch for the day. There you go. That's an easy way to win over a lot of the country. We could get like pre-Reagan Democratic Party numbers up in here if we just pass some good healthcare initiatives. But yeah, his speech just became a boring snooze fest halfway through, and then at the end he, said some shit. I don't even remember because I was already asleep by that point. I did like the joke where he was implying Trump's penis is small. Good joke. Other than that, though, his speech kind of blew. Oh, the thing I was going to say, by the way, about the protester clashing with Hassan is I was going to talk about leftist infighting. I've talked about leftist infighting so much at this point, I'm not even going to really touch on it very much, even though I wrote it in my doc. Y'all, can we just get on the same page, please? It's not a fucking ideology Olympics here, We're all on the same page. So, can we quit doing that, please? My God. But yeah. Oh, that's annoying. It pushed my thing to the bottom of the page. Wiping that out. So, the other thing was that, oh yeah, there was this image. Charlie Kirk tweeted a couple days ago, Tim Walz was so addicted to the Sega Dreamcast, his wife had to unplug it and hide it away. This is reported as a fun, relatable story, but doesn't anybody else find a 35-year-old man getting addicted to video games a little sad, or dare I say it, weird? They're desperate. This is all they have. They're desperate. All they have is a 25-year-old story about Tim Walz playing on the Sega Genesis. Dude, they're crying out here. Damn.
Play chess. And sometimes even let us win.
Double chunk chocolate cookie.
Family who loved us, believed in us, and told us we could be anything and do anything.
What a moment. Boom. We're Costco guys. What was I saying? Fuck. I lost what I was saying. Tim Walsh went to the DNC. What is up with these people disguising themselves, man? What is going on? Why are they doing this? Stop. Yeah, it looks just... Dude, this is crazy. Why does he like dressing up so much? What did he think was going to happen if he showed up out in his normal clothes? Charlie Kirk got in. He got talked to by like a few people. I know him and his team. He had like a team with him, I'm pretty sure, but nobody really messed with him except for the president of the Young Democrats, which wasn't even that bad. So I don't even understand why he has to disguise himself. And I don't think any content even came out of this. I'm pretty sure he made pretty much no content out of this, unless it hasn't come out yet. Old news, boring. But yeah. Dude, this water's so fucking good. Sure, she has to say a little bit.
Sure that we learned about civil rights leaders, including the lawyers like Thurgood Marshall and Constance Baker Motley. Those who battled in the courtroom to make real the promise of America.
Her dad is literally a Marxist.
So at a young age, I decided I wanted to do that work. I wanted to be a lawyer.
And hates
when
her
it
for this
came
reason.
time to choose the type of law I would pursue, I reflected on a pivotal moment in my life. You see, when I was in high school, I started to notice something about my best friend Wanda. She was sad at school.
It's this sexual assault case that inspired her to be a prosecutor. I'm pretty sure. Or it might have just been parental abuse. I don't remember the story exact. I'm pretty sure.
She did. This is one of the reasons I became a prosecutor.
Yeah, it was sexual abuse. Okay, I was right. There's another story while this is going on that I'll touch on. Tim Walz's son, Gus Walz, was going wild for his dad. You know, it was a pretty wholesome moment. He was crying and cheering for his dad. He's a Star Wars Revenge of the Sith novelization fan, so I accept no slander against his son. We in the Star Wars community should be rallying together to defend his son. If you're a decent human being, you should be doing the same, but especially as a Star Wars fan. He is a Revenge of the Sith novelization enjoyer. And so he was cheering on his dad while he was giving a speech at the DNC. It's a pretty big moment when your dad is the vice president, presidential candidate alongside Kamala Harris, who's the current vice president. Pretty big fucking deal. And he was cheering for his dad. And this is what the Republicans were saying about it, and Coulter, who was basically just a walking corpse at this point. How does her voice go? Talk about weird. I don't know. Her voice literally sounds like that reanimated mummy voice that they did like a few years ago. She said, talk about weird, because a 17-year-old with believe what does it say he has? He's nonverbal learning disorder, ADHD, and anxiety disorder. Yeah. This is what she's saying about his son. That's what she said. She deleted the tweet. That's why it was a screenshot. This person, Walt's kid, is acting just like his dad. Bizarre. And, you got replies calling, her a horrible person. Dinesh D'Souza, of course, had to weigh in. The kid might have mental problems, but he's acting just like Tim Walz. So what's Walz's excuse? I like this reply from Cody from Some More News. Dinesh, you should consider shitting in your own mouth. I really liked that. This person saying, eat a bag of dicks. Dinesh D'Souza, the party of family values, can't even recognize a family anymore. There's no way that's the actual Jack Smith account, right? Okay, it's not. Why does Obama follow him then? What the fuck? That's funny. The Lincoln Project replied, Anonymous replied, damn. Dude, Dinesh D'Souza got a lot of attention on this shit. Shit. But yeah, right-wingers going nuts for just being horrible people in general. But yeah. I was going to watch the full Tim Walz speech. I'm not sitting through the 16-minute long speech. Dude, the Republican attack line
watching tonight.
on Tim Walz is so funny.
To be a president for
Them saying that he's not a good enough veteran.
always trust me to put country above party and self.
Oh, never mind. She's talking
To
about
hold
Republicans.
sacred America's fundamental principles from the rule of law.
Them saying that Tim Walz is not a real veteran because he never served in combat. Them trying to say that he said that he served in combat even though he never said that.
And then talking about January 6th.
Them saying that he was an assistant coach, not a head coach or just a coach. It's like, yo, shut the fuck up, man.
A president who leads and listens, who is realistic,
Tim Walz is pretty cool.
practical, and has common sense, and always fights for the American people. From the courthouse to the White House, that has been my life's work. As a young courtroom prosecutor in Oakland, California, I stood up for women and children against predators who abuse them. As Attorney General of California, I took on the big banks, delivered $20 billion for middle-class families who faced foreclosure, and helped pass a homeowner Bill of Rights, one of the first of its kind in the nation. I stood up for veterans and students being scammed by big for-profit colleges, for workers who are being cheated out of their wages, the wages they were due, for seniors facing elder abuse. I fought against the cartels who traffic in guns and drugs and human beings, who threaten the security of our border and the safety of our communities. And I will tell you, these fights
If she
were not easy. And neither were the elections that put me in those offices.
If she says free Palestine, it's over. We got the election locked.
At practically
She won't
every
say it.
turn.
It's wishful thinking, but
But we never gave up, because the future is always worth fighting for.
come on, man. It's the same speech you gave like 2 weeks ago.
We are in right now.
Say
a
some
fight for
interesting shit.
America's
Some
future.
needle-moving shit. The room will go crazy
Fellow
if she says it.
Americans, this election is not only the most important of our lives, it is one of the most important in the life of our nation. In many ways, Donald Trump is an unserious man. But the consequences of putting Donald Trump back in the White House are extremely serious. Consider not only the chaos and calamity when he was in office, but also the gravity of what has happened since he lost the last election. Donald Trump tried to throw away your votes. When he failed, he sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol where they assaulted law enforcement officers.
Oh, they're yelling, I think.
When politicians in his own party begged him to call off the mob and send help, he did the opposite. He fanned the flames. And now, for an entirely different set of crimes, he was found guilty of fraud by a jury of everyday Americans, and separately,
I do hear people yelling.
and separately found liable for committing sexual abuse. And consider what he intends to do if we give him power again. Consider his explicit intent to set free violent extremists who assaulted those law enforcement officers at the Capitol. His explicit intent to jail journalists, political opponents, and anyone he sees as the enemy. His explicit intent to deploy our active duty military against our own citizens. Consider.
If she says nothing about freeing Palestine, the polls stay where they're at. If she says free Palestine, the polls will probably shift in her favor. If she says Israel has the right to defend itself, her polling numbers will drop. She will lose Michigan. If she says it during the DNC, I have a feeling she'll lose Michigan.
And how he would use the immense powers of the presidency of the United States.
Or at least her chances of losing Michigan would go up.
Not to improve your life.
I don't want to say she'll flat out lose it.
Not to strengthen our national security, but to serve the only client he has ever had, himself. And we know what a second Trump term would look like. It's all laid out in Project 2025, written by his closest advisors, and its sum total is to pull our country back to the past. But America, we are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back to when Donald Trump tried to cut Social Security and Medicare. We are not going back to when he tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, when insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions. We are not going to let him eliminate the Department of Education that funds our public schools. We are not going to let him end programs like Head Start that provide preschool and child care for our children. America, we are not going back. And we are charting a new way forward. To a future with a strong and growing middle class, because we know a strong middle class has always been critical to America's success. And building that middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
That tweet, that was not true.
And I'll tell you, this is personal for me. The middle class is where I come from. My mother kept a strict budget. We lived.
Oh, it's back to fucking stories again. I don't know, man. Why is it so hard for the Democratic Party to just align themselves with an emancipated, with a free Palestine? I don't understand it. Ay, ay, ay.
Small town or big.
Let me know when she actually says it, chat. I'm going to watch his chat to see when she actually says something about it. Because I don't think she will. Obviously. Ay. I don't know if I had anything else. I think I went through my whole doc. I mean, you know, the DNC was pretty not uneventful. I mean, we had like unions at the DNC. We did have some progressive stuff go down at the DNC that I was not expecting. I was not expecting them to call Trump a scab. Like, that is a new thing for the modern Democratic Party. I did think it would have been funny to wheel out Jimmy Carter at the end of the convention. But yeah.
National sales tax, call it a Trump tax, that would raise prices.
This campaign's off the rails, brother. I don't know who the fuck's writing these speeches. The deficit, bro? The budget?
Well, instead of a Trump tax hike,
are these guys on crack? What's next, bro?
Tax cut.
Is Kamala Harris gonna do a NATO speech? What's happening?
Dude, I'm telling you, they let those fucking Democratic operatives get their hands on the speech writing. Shit. Fuck.
Her background, like her build-up, her own personal biography was good.
Able to make their own decisions about their own.
So I need my fun fact. I already had one in mind. I just need to pull up the images that go with it. So this will coincide with the recent Trump story of him possibly Trump possibly violating the law by colluding with colluding by basically telling the Israeli government don't cut a ceasefire deal with the US government. So in 1980, Jimmy Carter, leading up to the 1980 election, Jimmy Carter was the president, and Iran took American hostages. And it's known as the Iranian hostage crisis. Ronald Reagan essentially ran on the platform of, when I'm in office, I will free those hostages. And after he was elected, like pretty much almost immediately, Iran freed the hostages. It's come out many, many, many years later that he probably had something to do, if not definitely had something to do, with Iran keeping those hostages until after the election. And you might, this map looks crazy now, but back then, this is what the map looked like for that election that year. It was the entire country minus West Virginia, Rhode Island, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Georgia, and Minnesota, and Hawaii. Everywhere else voted Republican, and you can see it from the top total. Well, Georgia voted for Carter because Carter's from here. He's from Georgia. And Minnesota is generally a pretty Democrat-leaning state. And here's my fun fact for you. In the 1984 election, it is a completely different story. Mondale ran against Reagan, and So yeah, Mondale ran against Reagan, and if you didn't know, Mondale is from Minnesota. And so as a result, he is his state voted for him in the 1984 election. Minnesota and DC are the only two places to vote Democrat in the 1984 election. Reagan won in a 49-state landslide. And Minnesota is the only U.S. state to vote Democrat. So that is my little fun, small fact for you, is that Minnesota never voted for Ronald Reagan. And who happens to be our Democrat vice presidential nominee? Why, it's the governor of Minnesota himself, Tim Walz. So there you go. That's my little fun fact for this episode. I'll be back on Friday with a normal episode that's a little less politics dense. I just felt like it would be kind of weird not covering the DNC on this show, and I'm so overtly political. So yeah, that's my little fun fact for y'all, is that Minnesota is a patriot. Minnesota is soda. They are a gladiator in the political electoral college. Never voted for Reagan once. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think they ever voted for Trump either. But let me fact check, because I've seen weirder stuff. Like, I just found out that Michigan voted Republican in one of the recent elections. Let me look for this map. Yeah, Minnesota has also never voted for Trump. Arguably, the modern day Ronald Reagan. That is the episode. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. We'll be back with episode 80 on Friday. Big numbers, episode 80, big numbers. Not sure what I'm going to do for that episode yet, but I'll be writing the doc over the course of the week. These podcasts are a lot more well organized than they used to be. So, let's check in.
And America, we must also be steadfast in advancing our security and values abroad. As Vice President, I have confronted threats to our security, negotiated with foreign leaders, strengthened our alliances, and engaged with our brave troops overseas. As Commander-in-Chief,
I clocked in at an interesting time.
America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world.
What the fuck? Yo.
And I will fulfill our sacred obligation to care for our troops and their families, and I will always honor and never disparage their service and their sacrifice.
Bro, what?
Where's this coming from?
She's crazy.
I will make sure.
Bro, she's glazing the troops worse than Trump.
Into the future on space
Trump
and
doesn't really
artificial intelligence, that America, not China, wins the competition for the.
Bro, she said we're going back to Iraq. She was like, I'm gonna make sure
Leadership.
I'm gonna be real
Trump,
fucking crazy
on the
about the
other
military.
Threatened to abandon NATO. He encouraged Putin to invade our allies.
Oh my God! Oh my God! She's doing the NATO speech. Oh my God! She's doing the NATO speech. Oh my God! Oh my God!
5 days before Russia attacked Ukraine.
Oh, dude, her poll numbers are gonna drop so fucking hard after this. God damn it. I was gonna end the episode, but like she started talking about foreign policy and I went, ooh. Now she's talking about NATO and I'm like, ugh. Come on. I can't wait to look at the polls tomorrow where she goes from her 4-point lead over Trump down to a 2-point lead nationally. Damn, where are these polls from? What's the margin of oh god, dude. What's the margin of error on these polls? That's the first poll that I've seen in a while where she goes above 50. Or she hits 50. These are all recent polls, too. These aren't like DNC polls, though.
For Israel's right to defend itself.
Oh, I'm super out. I'm super out.
Always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself, because the people of Israel must never again face the horror that a terrorist organization called Hamas caused on October 7. Including unspeakable sexual violence and the massacre of young people at a music festival. At the same time, what has happened in Gaza over the past 10 months is devastating. So many innocent lives lost. Desperate, hungry people fleeing for safety over and over again. The scale of suffering is heartbreaking. President Biden and I are working to end this war such that
horrific, disgusting rape
the hostages
that Hamas
are
did.
released, the suffering in Gaza ends,
But also,
and the
it's just,
Palestinian
it's really
people
sad what's
can
happening in
realize
Gaza.
their right to dignity, security, freedom, and self-determination.
Nah. I mean, obviously she brought up ceasefire in Gaza, so I was right, but no way she would have avoided it.
I will never hesitate to take whatever action is necessary to defend our forces and our interests against Iran and Iran-backed terrorists. I will not cozy up to tyrants and dictators like Kim Jong-un, who are rooting for Trump. Because, you know, they know.
You can find this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, your Samsung fridge. You can find it on Deezer if you're French. Oui, oui. Ha ha. You can find this on Patreon as well if you want to support us monetarily. And we're on YouTube Music. Thanks for watching.
Security and
Yikes.
ideals, because in the enduring
It might be Jover,
struggle
folks.
between democracy and tyranny, I know where I stand, and I know where the United States belongs.